So we have one more speaker to go, and it'll be the third speaker, and this time around, the speaker goes by the name of Nadhirah. Nadhirah is also delivering icebreaker speech, and the target audience is for KLBL Toastmasters, as well as fresh graduates. With a speech to inspire, her title is The Life Worth Living. You guys may wonder, Naza, did you not do any research about her? Yes, I did. The meaning of the name Nadhirah actually comes from the word, an Arabic word, meaning beauty and radiance in a person's face. It is the Quranic verse to describe the people who live in paradise. So no wonder whenever I see Nadhirah, I always feel like, wow, this is how it looks like if I die. Eh? Okay. Anyways, Nadhirah is currently a product specialist at a medical device company and is also a takaful advisor, the irony of life, right? And the icebreaker speech once again is titled The Life of Living. Nadhirah, the life of living, the life of living, Nadhirah. Over to you, Nadhirah.
Okay, thank you, Naza. 2009, I was 14 years old. One evening, I was eating Maggie, and out of nowhere, I thought to myself, hey, I want to be super successful in life so that I can bring joy and happiness and help my family, especially my parents, even though I know that my dad is not going to be in the picture at that time. I slap my face. I get out from my headspace. Why did I even say that? Not long after, few minutes, knock, knock, knock. It was Uncle Yusuf at the door. Slowly, he came to me and patted my shoulder and said, Dira, abah dah takde. Dira, dad is no more. Fast forward, I'm in my boarding school. So every Sunday, we will gather around the room and share food that our parents bring. Bear in mind, I have no one at home that can drive and visit me at school. My sister and brother both at the university. And one day, my junior came to me and said, Kak Dira, how come you always eat our food, but you never bring anything? Being a teenager, I felt shame. But more than that, I felt lonely and don't belong. I wish I have more money so that I can at least buy something from the canteen and share it with the whole dormitories. Then, 2016, I was in the UK doing my undergraduate studies in Sheffield. I was living my life. One day, as I was planning my trip to London, I got a call from home. My mom was on the line. Ira, abang dah takde. Ira, your brother is no more. I asked permission from my mom to go back home. I'm already prepared to buy my plane ticket and everything. But my mom said, no, just stay there. Why? Because it costs a lot to buy a return ticket from UK to Malaysia. So I spent the next few days alone and far away from my family. I was heartbroken. I will wake up at 3 a.m. in the morning. I will bawl my eyes out and sobbing quietly. I was not in the comfort of my loved one at that crucial moments of my life. It was the worst £500 savings I have ever made. It was painful for me having to refuse meaningful things in life just because of money. My financial was also in a mess. I don't know anything about financial management. On top of that, I have a secret I dared to tell no one. I spent big money on useless stuff. I was a shopaholic. I have zero savings despite being a scholarship student. So when other students can bring back tens of thousands of ringgit back home, guess how much I saved up? None. I was full of stress, anxiety, pressure, and fear due to my financial illiteracy. Then I decided to change. I wanted to take charge of my life. So I enrolled in a personal finance seminar, even though it was so close to my final year exam. But I thought I could spend the next few days studying, but I thought this is just as important. And boy, was I glad that I took that step. It was the best decision that I have ever made in my life. I learned how to save up. I learned how my poor financial decision will cause me even more pain and sufferings in the future. I learned strategies that I can implement as soon as I finish my final year. So gradually, my relationship with money changed for the better. I made a pledge to myself. 3 things. Nadhirah, when you started working, you must do side income. You must invest. You must serve others. True enough, we create our reality. And so I created mine. At 26 years old, I am making a minimum 1,005 passive income through my investment on top of my 9 to 5 job and my taka food business. This was not in my reality a couple of years ago. I now feel the abundance of wealth and life despite not even having 6 figures income in my savings account. And as Dr. Savia mentions, we do have. I am being a person with abundance and gratitude. And now I serve others. I create meaningful impact in my client's life through my service as a taka food advisor. I utilize my breakdown to create many more breakthroughs so that I can facilitate change in others as well. And for me, that is a life worth living. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much, Nadhirah.
Wow.
It's as if the 3 speeches just knew I was going to be the Toastmaster of the evening today. As a change specialist, I can tell you I'm thoroughly impressed by the 3 transformation stories we hear today. From the swimmer who swam towards his potential, to the lady who watered the garden of her passion, and last but not least, from the penniless turned financial advisor and investor, this is indeed a 3 story of transformation that's inspired all of us. Fantastic stories, and now we're going to go to the next segment. The next segment is all about feedback for champions. The third speaker, and she's here to woo you, eh? The third evaluator is here to woo you with her feedback, and I'm so sorry, Michelle. I've been wanting to use it for the longest time. Michelle is the evaluator for our third speaker, which is Nadhirah. So Michelle, woo us away.
Yes. Good evening, everybody. Good evening, Nadhirah. Nadhirah, your speech was really good. I think I can relate to you because you are so happy. So you're so happy and so bubbly. It's nice to actually hear that. What you are really good at is your expression. Today, I see a lot of expression coming out. I see a lot of good gestures with your hands, with the counting of 1, 2, 3. We have lots of that. Eye contact was good. I see you looking around the room. Not sure if you're looking at your screen for script or you're looking around the room, but from my point of view, your eye contact was there. You were very comfortable with yourself, with your speech. So it was like telling a story. It didn't look like you were looking at a script. Not from what I'm listening to. So you have great confidence. The clarity in your spoken language is also really good. There weren't too much big bombastic words that I need to Google for. So it's easy to understand. So the clarity is there. What you may want to work at would be the speed of your speech. Basically, your speech had the same speed from the beginning to the end, mostly the same. There wasn't pauses. Now, there were some really emotionally sad moments when your mom called you and told you your father is no longer with you and your brother is no longer here. I don't hear that. I don't feel that when you tell. It's a story. So that would be good if you would pause, maybe to slow down and to use a deeper tone rather than the nice, happy, high-pitched tone. Okay, so that is something. The vocal variety, right? The variety that you have, because I've heard you before, you do have vocal variety, but it did not show up today in your speech. So that might be something that you want to work on. But great, I love the happy, fun, cheerful, loving kind of atmosphere that you have created. Okay, back to you, Naza, Toastmaster of the evening.
I love how the bubbly is evaluating the bubbly indeed. Okay, now let's
because when I hear her, right, I was like, oh, she is so bubbly. She is like me when I'm excited.
Right. So Nadhirah, you found your sister from the other side, so let's time to get to know her better. Okay, now open up for open evaluation. Who would like to give Nadhirah the gift? Oh, May, I see your hand up. May, over to you.
Okay. This feedback is for Nadhirah, but I also invite everybody else to consider it as well, and it's slightly different in that we all want feedback, and especially at Toastmasters, we love the more constructive feedback as well because it's actually given quite gently and kindly. And what I would like to say today to Dira is that when I listened to you, I nearly cried twice. I felt that you had really great storytelling. There were a lot of different elements. I didn't pick up the details, but you had good storytelling. You had a lot of good structure. It was very easy to follow. Michelle covered a lot of technical stuff already, but there is something that you have that a lot of speakers don't have in terms of being able to inspire. I could feel your heart. I could feel your energy. I could feel that pull. And I don't know if you
May, I think you're so serene. We can't hear you anymore.
oh, like that. Okay. So did you hear what I said about your energy?
Yes.
Okay. Michelle covered a lot of really good points as well, and I concur with a lot of that. Your storytelling skills, I thought was really exceptional for somebody who's starting off, and so then there is an energy that you were able to convey that I don't know how many people pick it up, but it was there and it was very strong, and a lot of speakers don't have that. I told you, Michelle talked about how bubbly you are. I felt your sadness and I felt your grief. Some people can talk about death, but I would never feel it. You did that and you conveyed that. So if you were able to somehow consciously do that, then I would like you to take that time to anchor it in, that ability to generate that energy across to the audience. It's because taking the time to anchor and root down your success is no less important than just fixing your weaknesses, because we are so obsessed with trying to improve ourselves, but taking the time to just ground that success in is also makes life a lot easier as well. So you have that energy, and it was very powerfully expressed, and I felt it. So just wanted to share that with you. Thank you. So just as for everybody else, so this one for Dira, it's emotional expression. But for everybody else, when you get positive feedback, try to take like 5 seconds to just let it sink in and really acknowledge that for yourself. Right? People see your success, people see your strength, and for a moment, give yourself permission to feel that success as well. You can fix your weaknesses later lah. So when you let that in, then your strength will only go stronger. Thank you.
Thank you so much, May, for that. So who else was going to give another feedback?
Nadhirah.
Nadhirah, Selina, over to you.
Yes. I don't know if any one of you actually heard the same as what I heard. Okay, when I think I heard several sentences when Nadhirah mentioned, when I was in Sheffield, I lived my life. And then there was a sentence saying, I made my life worth living. I feel some of the sentences that Nadhirah made, to me, it's like listening to Tony Robbins. He say something, he always got a headline, and then he have a lot of description, the story inside, and then he make another headline, and then the stories inside. I feel this way is like you use that headline to capture the attention from the audience, which I really like it. If you can make it more impactful, as in bring out the voice when you make that headline, so that we know, wow, she said this, so what is she going to share with us? That will make us wanting to really, really listen to the little stories of you, that particular headlines. So I felt that way of crafting your speech is very interesting. So you may want to make it even more impactful.
Thank you, Selina.
Thank you, Selina. Maybe just one last feedback from anyone else in the crowd before we move on to yes, Alan. Alan's on the roll tonight.
I always think that icebreaker is the hardest speech in the Toastmaster, because we can choose either we can talk about it in an authentic manner or we just breeze it through. And tonight you actually went deep inside when you deliver this speech. Yes, I agree with Michelle that you give me the impression that it is of a single emotion. And I also agree with May that I always admire May for her ability to sense energy. I don't know how she do it. I sense that you are trying to cover your grief by projecting that single emotion in the beginning of your speech, by looking bubbly. I understand that, and I invite you to repeat this speech again, okay, and go through that grieving process. It is a hard job. It is going to be tough. Go through that grieving process. Feel that feel again. And in your next speech, you will be very impactful. I look forward to that. Back to you, Naza.
Okay, Alan. So once again, as Alan mentioned, for the three icebreaker speeches, most people just say where they are from, what is their hobby, and what is their favorite food. And I really, really applaud the three speakers for really going at their most vulnerable moments. Yes, there are times when you can go do a bit more differently, but this is the first step of a million miles, right? So I want to share with you guys one of my favorite quotes by Brené Brown. Brené Brown says that vulnerability is our most accurate measurement of courage. So us, Alan, us, May, and us all of our evaluators said, I hope to see Nadhirah, Stephanie, and also Hafiz in your next few rounds of speech to inspire, explore that moments of vulnerability. Because the more vulnerable you're able to make yourself, the more courageous you become. That is Brené Brown. If you have time to check out her TED Talk, check it out. It's a fantastic talk about the opposite of courage is not bravery. It's actually courage and vulnerability coexist at the same spectrum.